Hello, everyone, and welcome to Taking Up Space with Jordan. I'm your host, Jordan, and today I want to chat with y'all for just a few minutes about new seasons, what that can bring for us, and how to do a little reset, and how to step into this new season of life with a little spring in your step. Yes, I said it. Spring is officially here. The cold clutches of winter no longer have our hand wrapped around our goddamn throats. And if you're anything like me, you might be already starting to feel that little shift, that tiny bit of energy coming back. Maybe you're opening your windows more. Maybe you're romanticizing your morning coffee again. Maybe you're just not as tired as you were 2 weeks ago. And I want to talk about that because I think we underestimate how much literal seasons can impact us. So let's chat about it. So let's start here first. A lot of us spent winter beating ourselves up. I also beat myself up a lot. I think we forget sometimes that winter is actually a season of rest and recharge, and basically we're supposed to stay grounded in our homes. We're supposed to be little bears that tuck ourselves away. Winter is not about really honestly pushing our bodies and pushing ourselves too much. And I think a lot of us have maybe had that thought pattern, or maybe it's just me, where we're feeling like we weren't showing up the way we thought that we should be showing up. But I want to offer you a little reframe. I'm really big on the reframes right now. But have you ever thought that maybe you were not failing? You were just in winter? Winter is not the season of blooming. It's the season of rest, of reflection, of going inward, of surviving sometimes. And I think we live in a world that expects us to be in this constant state of spring, especially as women. We are always supposed to be growing, producing, and glowing, but that's just not it. I know for myself, winter was really hard. For the first time in over a year, I really felt my depression creep back in. I was really struggling with feeling motivated. I was really struggling and beating myself up for not doing like the things that I thought I should be doing, like not being on top of my laundry, not getting out and moving my body enough. And I really felt, and I am somebody who suffers from depression. I've talked about here on the podcast before. And so I was really having to honestly tell myself and remind myself that this was okay. This was fine to just be at home. I didn't need to be going out and doing all the things. I didn't need to be pushing my body. I didn't need to be pushing my mind. And I also think winter was especially hard for a lot of us who are so aware of what is going on in the world right now. And I'm honestly not even just talking about the shit show that is the United States of America, but I am also talking about just the sheer amount of atrocities that are happening in the world and the constant breaking news. There's people are losing their jobs because of robots, the increase in homelessness, and so many other terrible things that are happening outside of our control. And that's really hard on the body, and that's really hard on the nervous system, especially when you're also dealing with winter. And so if you're feeling like you failed or haven't met your goals because we are 3 months into the year, I need you to take a look at yourself in the mirror, and I need you to say, I've done enough. And that you're not a failure. And you need to release that energy right now, because what that energy is doing is it's just sitting in your body and it's just eating away at any potential, not to use the spring metaphor, but any potential blooming that could be happening within. When we sit in the negative and we sit in the what we could have done, what we should have done, what we are doing is we are allowing the past to kind of constantly eat away at us, and it's eating away at our potential or any opportunity that could be lurking right around the corner. Because I think the other part of this is that you have made it through to this point. You are showing up for yourself. You are saying, hello, it's a new season. I'm ready for it. The sun is out a little bit more. I mean, not here in the Pacific Northwest. We're dealing with mudslides, it feels like, on a daily basis. But besides that, the sun tends to be out longer, as in it is lighter as the days go on. That really does have an impact on your physicality and that nervous system. And so give yourself a breath, give yourself a moment to take a breath, because there's 9 months left of the year. So if you're somebody who has goals for the end of the year, guess what? You're only 1/3 of the way through. You have so much more time and so many more opportunities coming your way. And I want to be clear about something specifically too, because maybe you are not ready to move into spring. Maybe you're still in that recovering and rest period. That is okay. Know thyself, respect thyself, create boundaries around that. You do not need to be springing all around everywhere. You can just still sit and rest and relax. But take your time when it comes to getting into that mindset, into shifting into spring. You do not need to force yourself just because everyone else is out and about and they're enjoying spring and they're setting their goals and they're matching them or meeting them. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be doing that just as much as the other person. But I do want to talk about why I do love the season of spring and why I think so many of us feel that sudden relaxation that happens with it. And it's because spring is literally all about growth and light and energy. It's all about the restoration of Mother Nature coming back to Earth. And I've said this before about spring, but spring to me feels like the real start of the year. If you made New Year's resolutions and goals, like it feels like January to March is the time to just kind of maybe ruminate on them, think about how you want to execute on them. But spring is about kind of pushing yourself really into that mindset to kind of start to move towards them, to start reaching into those goals and reaching into that mindset that you need for those goals for you to complete them. And this is not, I mean, to spring is here, so now you need to start focusing on X, Y, and Z. No, that's not what I mean. But you start seeing where this new energy can take you. It's like there's this reservoir that has been hanging out and waiting, and you have just been putting into it as you've been resting this past winter. And now that spring is here, the reservoir is starting to kind of open up for you to tap into. And that's why I love spring so much. Because spring, it also brings us more warmth, more energy, and more possibilities. And naturally, like I said earlier, your body, your mind, your energy, it's going to start to naturally shift with that. Another reason I love this time of year is because we can start to ask ourselves such an important check-in question, especially because you're at a perfect point in the year where you're 1/3 into the year and you can start to go, okay, what feels good to step into right now? We're at the beginning of a new season. We're basically stepping into another part of the year. What feels good to you right now? What do you want to step into? Where are you wanting to put your energy? And maybe that looks like going on more walks. Maybe it looks like finally starting that idea that you've been sitting on, cleaning your space. And finally, maybe you're needing to reconnect with people or even just caring a little bit more about your routine again. All of these things are such a great time during spring to start to kind of tap into and see where you're wanting to put your energy and what you're wanting to step into. Because spring isn't about becoming a completely different person overnight. To be so clear, no season is about being a completely different person overnight. It's about reawakening the version of you that's already there and telling her gently, hey, girl, it's time to get up. So I do like to have a soft little reset at the beginning of each season. I think it's important to me to have one of these because your habits will naturally change with what's going on with the weather, and your skin is going to be different. Your hair is going to fall differently. Your outfits are going to naturally shift. And so doing a soft little baby reset, having a little glow, a little springy glow, it's always fantastic. So let's talk about a little spring reset that you can do that's not a massive overhaul. It's not aggressive. It's not about fixing everything in your life in 7 days. None of that. So first, clean one area of your life. Not everything, just one. Maybe it's your room. Maybe it's your inbox. How many of you have 10,000 plus emails in your inbox that you probably need to just go through and delete them? And it also gives you a little anxiety to have that number be so high. Go ahead, clean that up. Maybe you need to look at your schedule. Where are you putting too much time in? Maybe your mind needs to be clear. Maybe it's time to book that therapy appointment. Just pick one thing and just give it a little bit of love. Next, revisit your routines gently. Again, this is not about a massive overhaul. I want to know what worked before winter, what didn't, what actually supports you, and not just what looks good on TikTok. For me, what this is looking like is I've actually reduced my skincare because I noticed that during the springtime, my face tends to have a little bit more breakouts. I think it's just because of the constant weather shifts. So I'm exfoliating a little bit more. I'm doing a big exfoliator, and then I'm also doing a gentle everyday exfoliation on my skin, and I've been noticing a huge difference. And I've been slowly resetting the skincare routine as we've been going into spring. It's fantastic for me. But it's part of my new routine with my skincare is that I've also gained about 15 minutes back because I'm not having to sit and wait for products to set on my face or whatever. And so with that 15 minutes, I've also started increasing my hip mobility. I am getting older. I'm 31 years old and I want to be able to touch my toes at 65, 75 years old. So got to do that hip mobility exercises. And now I have the time for them because that's what's working for me. And it's not pretty. It's not cute. It's not aesthetic. I'm not putting on a whole ass outfit or anything. I'm doing this in my pajamas with titties out. So you don't have to be aesthetic to have a good routine. It just has to work for you. Next, I want you to do something about your desires. I want you to check in with them. But I want you to check in with your desires. Your desires are not your obligations. They're not the what you should want or what you should do. It's what do you want right now in this season? Is it more rest, more connection, more creativity, more money? Let yourself answer yourself honestly, and I want no filter on it. Just ask yourself the question, what do I desire right now? Just put it down, write it down. Our fourth thing is this idea of add, don't subtract in spring. Spring is about growth. So instead of only focusing on what you need to remove, I want you to also think what you want to add. This kind of goes into that desire piece. Are you needing more joy? Are you needing more movement, sunlight, fun, ease? What is it? And how can you start to add just a little bit? Because we're building, not just cutting away this season. A spring reset, I think, especially something as soft as this, is just about asking yourself, what can I create more of in my life for myself while also not creating burden? And I think it's really important for everyone to note and to remember that just because it's spring, it also doesn't mean that you have to be in full bloom yet. Like, some of us are still thawing. Some of us are still figuring it out. I know I am. Some of us are just now getting our energy back, and that's okay. You don't need to compare your timeline to someone else who looks like they've already arrived, because growth isn't loud all the time. Sometimes growth looks like getting out of bed with a little more ease, drinking water, answering that awkward email, going outside, letting yourself feel hopeful again. All of those things count. But guess what those things are? You can't capture those and put them on your timeline. You can't put that on your Instagram because you are allowed to grow at your own pace. You're allowed to move into this new season at your own pace. There is no need to rush to the end of the season and rush to the end of the finish line, because the end of the finish line is what? It's not a gold medal. It's not a ribbon. It's nothing. Instead, you've just rushed through your life and you're left there going, did I actually live my life? And that's not the energy we want for spring. So as we step into this new season, I want you to ask yourself, what would it look like to move through this spring with intention, but also a little bit of softness? What would it look like to trust your timing? What would it look like to believe that something new is possible for you? Because it is. This season is not about becoming someone else. It's about coming back to yourself and waking up and allowing yourself to shake off winter and step into a new season. Thank you so much for tuning in to Taking Up Space with Jordan. If this episode resonated with you, make sure you share it with a friend, leave a review, or post it on your story and tag me so I can connect with you. And as always, continue to take up space, move with intention, and add a little spring to your step. I'll talk to you next week. Kisses!